My name is Tianeng Va. I'm coming from the community of the most recent, I would say, American refugee. We are Hmong from the country of Laos. Majority of the Hmong people in America are from Laos as a result of the American and Vietnam dispute in Vietnam back in the early 60s, leading up to the ceasefire in 1973. So we are refugee resettled in the U.S. and in other countries across the world. And we have been here for going on 40 some years. Some of the struggle we have as any new refugee is through literacies, assimilations, and come out of that, active participation in economic development and political participation, as well as education or academic attainment. And then from there on, they're able to start like moms and pops, corner store. One perfect example is if you go on the east side of St. Paul, you'll see Golden Harvest, one of the premier Hmong grocery store or stores that started by a couple at a corner, where the Highway Credit Union is now on Pennsylvania and Wright Street. And look at where they are now. So those are some of the, I always say that success story that even though I personally wasn't involved in there, I was a witness to it because they're a friend and they're a family member. So there's just some of those. Regarding academic, especially with the 1992 Milo Carter-led charters movement in the U.S. that has been very successful here in the Twin Cities, that we have established over 8 charter schools that are Hmong focused or Hmong heritage and language focused. I myself have also co-founded one academy in Sacramento. It's called W.A.T.E.R. And it's also, it's supposed to be brain hands-on and brain-out focused, curriculum that also have a component of very strong Hmong heritage literacy in there too. So that's those just some of the things. And then of course some other business like I already mentioned, Golden Harvest, Hmong Village, Hmong Town Marketplace. Those are as a result of combined resource within the community, individual success that led to such an establishment.
I've stopped worrying about worrying. We will keep turning. Doesn't matter what I do. Trying to be open and keep my head up to words not spoken. Makes all the difference to me and you. Me and you. Show you the place that I go to when all the lights are faded out. You're gonna see what I'm all about. All of the world's in motion. I can feel it all through the ocean, up to the mountaintop. I couldn't make it stop, even if I wanted to. Worrying, we will keep turning. Doesn't matter what I do. I do. This time I will go wherever you go. I will stop even no show. I know.
Hi guys, I'm Musab Hussein. I go to Cooper High School. I'm with Asian Media Access. I'm going to be your host tonight. I'm with
Bruce Fong from St. Francis High School.
Ibrahima Jawara from Fridley High School.
Isaiah Beach from De La Salle High School.
Today our main topic is going to be immigration and how your families got here. How much of your family is here in the States today?
I think all of my family from both sides is here in the States.
I don't think there's a lot of my family in the United States.
Yeah, me too. There's not that much.
Yeah, pretty much all of my family from both sides are here.
Yeah, some of my family are here, some are over there, but you know, my dad goes back and forth. How long did it take your family to adjust to a new life here in America?
I don't really know how long, but I think it was very hard for them to adjust.
Yeah.
Well, not too hard.
I see.
I don't think it was very hard for my dad because he has an American wife and she speaks it.
It was medium. It was half easy, half hard.
Yeah, me too. It just took a while, but once they started understanding things, it got easy for them. Where did your families come from? Oh, where did your families come from?
My dad's family came from Thailand.
My dad came from Gambia.
My dad came from Nigeria.
Yeah, my family, they all moved from Somalia. Do you think immigrants are good for the U.S.? Do you think they help with the jobs people don't want? Do you think they shouldn't be here? What do you think?
I think it's fine with them being here because, you know, they all have their reasons for coming here.
What about you?
I think they should be coming here because they have families that they need to help.
I think it's good having them here because, you know, they get more opportunity here.
And they can help their families back home. Yeah, I understand. Why did your families choose America?
I think it was just more for the like the variety here with jobs and everything.
I think they chose the U.S. because of the schooling.
Yeah, I agree. I also think my dad chose America because of like basic stuff like food, water, basic resources.
What was the biggest difference from your family back home and here? What's a big difference you can say?
I would say the biggest difference is, I guess, the culture here and from where they immigrated from.
Yeah, the culture is very different.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing was that, like, how both countries operated.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. I think also, like, you know, like the community, how it's like, because it's different in both countries.
Yeah, I see. It's very different, and it takes a while to adjust, but everyone adjusts at some point. Would your family go back if the country you guys came from was more stable and had more jobs and like had good schooling, like you said?
I don't think so. I think they would stay here because they already kind of they all already settled down, I think.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
I think my dad would just he wouldn't go back like forever, but he would just go back and forth to see his family.
Yeah, I think my dad would do the same. I think he would just go back to see family, but he wouldn't actually live there again since he's already settled.
My dad goes back to see family and comes back. What did your family feel welcomed when they first came to the States, or was you had to make did your family feel welcomed at all when they first came to the States?
I think so. I think it just took a while to adjust to the different like cultures and things that happen over here.
Alright. Did your dad feel welcome?
Kind of, because like it was not really easy to adjust.
I think he felt like he was welcome, but at the same time, he kind of really wasn't, because, you know, he had to learn that new language, you know.
Yeah, I see. Was Minnesota the first state your family came to, or was there different states? Or do you guys move around at all?
I think the first state that both my parents moved to was California.
The first state my dad went to was Minnesota.
Yeah, I think Minnesota was my dad's primary choice.
I see. Did your family move away from California, or did they just come to Minnesota right after?
Everybody on my mom's side moved to Minnesota, and then I think only my dad came to Minnesota.
Why did your families choose Minnesota specifically? Because, you know, it's not a big state. It's not like New York or something. Why did they choose Minnesota?
My dad thought that they had like very good jobs and very good schoolings.
I think my dad thought that was because he thought Minnesota was kind of like that, not too big of a state where it's like really, really popular, but at the same time it's known.
What do you think your family misses about back home? Do they talk about back home a lot?
They don't really talk about it much, but if I had to say what they miss, it'd probably be probably the people over there.
The people?
I think my dad misses his family and his other kids.
My dad misses like the community, the people, but at the same time, he kind of has it in Minnesota because they have like a lot of different events.
Yeah.
For different like cultures.
Yeah, my family, they talk about back home a lot. They miss the people, the culture and stuff like that. But I think they like it here in the States too. What's your favorite thing about your family's culture?
I think more of the food, because I did grow up eating food related to my culture a lot. So I think if I were to like choose a foodie, I lean more to that side.
I've always wanted to try Thai food. What's your favorite dishes?
I'd say.
What would you recommend to people that want to try your country's food?
I think we ate a lot of Vietnamese food. So I think something I would recommend is probably like steam rolls. Yeah, those are really good.
All right. What's your favorite thing about your family's culture?
My favorite thing about my dad's culture is how they celebrate every year.
Well, what do you guys celebrate? What's the celebration?
Like Eid.
What about you?
I'd say my dad's favorite thing about it is probably the community, because they're like really nice to us. You know, we have connections with people, and we can relate to a lot more. It's kind of harder in America because they're different people that we've never met, that we've had to adjust to for years.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
What was the biggest difference in like food when your family first came here? Did they like the American food, the huge sugar? Did they like that?
I think they preferred like their food that they ate, because I think like with me, they grew up eating that, and they like know what it is in a way. So I think they would prefer to eat, but they did try like foods here, and I think they did enjoy those.
I see. It's like my mom too. She enjoys her food back home. She makes them a lot at home, but she would eat the food here if she had to. What about you?
I think my dad preferred the food back home because like the little community that is here, they make food for each other and stuff.
And do you like the food? Do you like your country's food? Do you like your dad's food?
Yeah.
I think my dad, it was a little weird eating the food at first, but then he got used to it. He would definitely prefer the food like back home, because back home, you know, the food was really good. You know, he was used to that kind of food, so it was a little weird eating American food. And he would make a lot of food back home.
Right, I see. If you grew up in a country your parents grew up, would you be the same person you are today? Do you think you would be the same person?
I think I would probably be. I think I would be a different person because I think the people here and where they immigrated from, they're really different. They have different cultures and they act different. So
you would be a different person. I see.
I think I would be a different person. Because
do you think you would be a different person because your family, like the country's hardships, or like the community's different over there, or stuff like that?
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I definitely would be a different person because like if I grew up in my country that I immigrated from, I think I would understand more of the hardships that my dad had to go through. So I would just understand him that much more, and I would have a closer relationship with him.
I see. All right. Would you visit the countries your parents came from? Like, would you visit Thailand?
Eventually down the line, I would go visit just to see how everything is over there and see how different it is from here and over in Thailand.
Yes, I would like to go see my dad's country because like there's a lot of my family there and I would like to meet them.
I would because to catch up with like my community, what's going on, because it seems like we have like a strong community there, and we always like to catch up on what we're doing, how we're doing, you know. But I really like to catch up with them.
Yeah, me too. I would visit my country back home just to see family and stuff like that. Do you think the schools are different from here and back home?
I think they are different. Maybe some of the things they teach are the same. Maybe the way they teach it is different. And I think it was probably a little bit more different here because of the language barrier that they had to face.
I think it's very different back home because of like they have low supply of like the books, and America has like way more.
I agree. I also think it's like I agree with both of them. I also think one huge barrier is like the technology, because America has all this technology of how they can apply this to the students
like
and
their
learn.
Chromebooks and stuff. But
Yeah.
All right.
And then back home, you know, they really don't have as many resources to teach the students.
Yeah, I understand the difference. It would be way different if you were learning school back home. Would you hope your country back home, like become a teacher there and help people there? Do you think that's something you would be interested in doing?
I haven't really thought of that, but probably not. Yeah, probably not.
What about you?
I would not become a teacher, but I would probably like help them out with the resources and stuff.
I wouldn't become a teacher, but I would donate to charity back home.
That helps
so they can have the stuff that they need.
All right. Thank you for watching Musa Hussein. Thank you, my guests, Bruce, Ibrahima, and Isaiah. That'll be it for tonight. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zihui Lu. I'm a life coach and parenting coach. I live in Minneapolis. I have a coaching company. It's called Dream Carving. So this company offers coaching services to individuals, families, and corporations. The reason I'm doing coaching is because I want to offer support to people who want to achieve their goals. whatever their goal could be. It can be life goals, can be parenting, family goals, can be career goals. And I specialize in helping people in parenting, work-life balance, emotion regulation, career development.
Can you tell me about your immigrations, why you're here, and how you get to Minnesota?
Yeah. So I finished my undergrad degree in China from the Beijing Normal University. Then at the age of 22, I came to Canada to pursue my master's and PhD degree in psychology. I studied in the University of Toronto. So after I completed my PhD degree in psychology, I also did a 1-year postdoc at the Children's Hospital in Toronto. And also, after that, my husband, he found a job in the US at the University of Minnesota. So that's why we moved to the US.
Do you enjoy here? Is there any difficulty, any cultural clash?
When I was in Toronto, it was really nice because Toronto is a multicultural city. Of course, there was a lot of cultural clash as well. The language barrier, also the cultural differences. It was an interesting time to learn about those things. And after I moved here, it's quite similar with Canada as well, with the culture. Yeah, I can see that I'm more comfortable now, more than like 12 years ago.
Okay class, we're about to have our guest speaker Ace come in. He's going to share his immigrant story and how his family came to America. Alright Ace, come in.
Hey guys, I'm Ace and I'll be telling you about my immigrant story. It's mostly about how my family got here in America and how they've adapted and felt since arrival. But now, with that out of the way, we can finally start. Here we go. It's around the year 1600 in China, and a group of people, known as the Hmong people, were being oppressed by China's beliefs. But then the Hmong people were like, whoa, this ain't happening. So they packed their bags and left while also fighting with China. They were then forced to migrate south to countries such as Laos and Thailand. This is where they eventually settled down, such as having farms and villages, and where they lived peacefully for years to come. Until, fast forward 200 years, it's around the 1960s. America comes knocking and they ask the Hmong for their assistance in the Vietnam War. Then America offers food, water, and shelter to the Hmong people due to their villages and farms being burned from the war. Because America had lost the war to North Vietnamese forces in 1975, they were forced to retreat, leaving the Hmong people defenseless. I say defenseless because any remaining Hmong person who helped serve South Vietnam in the Vietnam War were to be killed by a Vietnamese soldier if found. My grandfather and his father were also people who served in the Vietnam War, so that meant that they were hunted along with the other Hmong people. But then America comes back and they're like, hey, want to come over to our place for freedom and opportunities? But first you gotta learn English. So that's when my family started learning English and started to migrate over to the US. Of course, it took a long time, like a couple months or so, but it was worth it. That's what they thought. Okay, so now it's around the early 2000s, maybe a little bit before then, but still. My grandparents and family first landed in California, and that's where my grandparents had to get jobs, provide for their family, learn English. And this is also where my uncles and my dad went to school and where my dad met my mom. That's where they then migrated from California to Michigan, where they had me, to Minnesota. Also, my uncle once told me that he felt out of place and stupid when he first moved to the US. But I mean, can you blame the guy? A new language, new culture, new world. Alright, fast forward to 2022 and here I am making this video. Now, do I think it was worth it for them to move to America? Oh, definitely. I think they feel way more safer here than they did back in Thailand in the refugee camps. And America simply has a lot of opportunities to give if you're willing to take them. But as for culture, I don't really feel as connected as some other people do when it comes to culture. And for my parents, I feel like they know more about it because they got the hands-on experience, while I only got the virtual experience mostly because I'm a second generation Hmong person, or yeah. And but that doesn't mean I'm not willing to learn about it and my culture, religion, anything. I would also love to give kudos to my family members, the ones who got here. They were really trying to live in a world that was not familiar to them and was also trying to develop and lose prejudice because that was the 1900s. Come on. Sure, they might still be prejudiced, but not as much. And they've grown to love. So, America's changed a lot. The world has. And that pretty much wraps up my immigrant story.
Hello, my name is Pauline Koo. I am the CEO and founder of Koo Consulting. I founded Koo Consulting after spending more than 20 years working for corporations and also for nonprofits in the areas of marketing and communications, and always with a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Tell me about your immigration backgrounds, how you get here, why you choose Minnesota.
So I am an immigrant from Malaysia. I am a self-funded first-generation college student. I came here because, first of all, I got a scholarship to go to the university. And I've been in Minnesota for over 20 years, and I am very, I have affinity with Minnesota because as an immigrant, there is such a diverse population and community that I find we can connect to, have shared experiences, and also help to build one another up and help each other thrive, and also help people who are not people of color to connect to whether they are communities of color or immigrants, and make sure that we have a strong relationship to create a sustainable and thriving community for all to enjoy and for the future generations. My first role is to understand where everyone is in the continuum of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because there are people who are in denial of of the importance of getting together and working alongside of one another, regardless of who you are and where you come from. And then there are people who are on the spectrum of the top spectrum, where they are accepting and adapting and working collaboratively with different races and people from different backgrounds. We all have implicit bias, and we all carry around with us the ways that we were taught as young adults growing up, where our parents might have been a strong influence about getting together with other people, welcoming other races, and also understanding and accepting. When we want to nurture and begin to heal as a community, we need to understand what the barriers are to working together and collaborating, and we need to put forth our earnest and authentic intentions to want to really collaborate and see that we build a future that is sustainable for everyone.